everybody, I am Toby Loxton of TFL Creative Media and welcome back to another instalment of Toby's Tops. And today's topic, well, that is regarding film and television writers. Just to clarify, this is not a top writers list overall. However, if the writers on this list have dabbled in other roles in the media industry, then that's okay here, as I'll be solely viewing these entries as writers first and foremost. Kicking off this list is quite a character indeed, as at number 5 is Charlie Brooker. This well-known television cynic is probably best known for presenting his Wipe series in all its variety. Though aside from all of that, Brooker's placement on this list is solely because of his writing on one of my favourite television shows of all time, Black Mirror. His writing on that show is so good that it makes me wonder if he's that much of a genius, or he comes from the future. Either explanation works for me. With his interesting viewpoints on life, enforcing his unique writing style, Charlie Brooker has definitely earned his place on my list, even though that he probably wouldn't give a about it. We then move on to someone who is more than just a writer, as at number 4 is Phoebe Bridgers. It should come as no surprise that the person who helped to create, write, produce, and star in the award-winning series Fleabag has earned a place on this list. But she has also helped to write and produce the fantastic thriller series Killing Eve, and I wouldn't be surprised if that was the reason that she recently landed the gig of writing the latest James Bond movie at the time of recording, No Time to Die. There are some writers who you look up to, but Phoebe Bridgers is just one of those writers that you want to collaborate with and hear her exposit for hours and hours about film, television, writing, and life in general. She's awesome, and that's why she's at number 4 on this list. There are just some writers who need no introduction, and this guy is one of them, as at number 3 is Douglas Adams. This guy is sci-fi royalty, probably best known for his best-selling novel, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. His writing usually deals with big, abstract, sci-fi concepts whilst delivering it with a great sense of humour, which can be seen throughout his video game work and his sitcom work such as Not the 9 O'Clock News and Monty Python's Flying Circus. But I'm personally most familiar with Douglas Adams thanks to 2 reasons. Firstly, it's because he created Dirk Gently's holistic detective agency, which inspired Max Landis to create the Netflix original of the same name, and he was also surprisingly the script editor for Doctor Who during Tom Baker's era, even writing a few of his own stories during that time. It's because of these reasons, and many, many more, that Douglas Adams is not just one of my favourite film and television writers, but also one of my favourite writers in general. I mentioned how Douglas Adams has a fantastic sense of humour, but this next entry is known for his sense of humour, as at number 2 is Richard Curtis. Oh god, where do I even begin with this guy? Not only did he contribute to Not the 9 O'Clock News just like Douglas Adams did, but he has been responsible for some of the best pieces of British comedy of all time. Spitting Image, Mr. Bean, The Vicar of Dibley, and one of my personal favourite comedy shows of all time, Blackadder. And that's not even including his movie work, writing the Bridget Jones movies, 4 Weddings and a Funeral, About Time, and Love Actually, the latter of which he directed and is one of my personal favourite movies of all time. But what cements Richard Curtis for me as a great writer is how he is able to thread dark and mature themes throughout his comedy work, with his more dark and mature themes being best demonstrated in his script for Steven Spielberg's live-action adaptation for War Horse and his one Doctor Who episode, Vincent and the Doctor, which is quite possibly one of the best pieces of Doctor Who writing I have ever seen. There's a reason why I wrote an entire essay about this guy's career at university, and I actually met the guy in person. Now that is one for the bucket list. Okay, before we get to my number 1, I just wanted to quickly run through some honourable mentions of film and television writers that are up there for me, but didn't quite make the top 5 for whatever reason. Richard Ayoade, Neil Gaiman, Mindy Kaling, Michael Schneer, Michelle Cole, Mark Gatiss, Jan Goldman, Jimmy Perry, Michael Waldron, and Melissa Rosenberg. And my number 1, personal favourite film and television writer of all time is someone I would have never have considered until I gave it some thought. And that is, of course, Russell T Davies. Okay, hear me out on this one. My realisation as to why Russell T Davies is my favourite writer ever is like when you have a good friend that you would have never have considered to be your best friend until you realise how much you get along and how much you spend time with them, and you realise, oh my god, they're my best friend. And that's what it's like for Russell T Davies for me. Even though I'm yet to see his earlier work such as Queer as Folk and Casanova, all of his most recent work that I have seen, I've absolutely loved. The first season of A Very English Scandal, the dystopian Years and Years, and the AIDS awareness ad of It's a Sin. And of course, we cannot forget that this was the man who was responsible for reviving the greatest science fiction series ever made back in 2005. And it's absolutely mind-boggling that over 10 years since he was the showrunner of Doctor Who, he is now coming back to home the 60th anniversary and the 14th Doctor beyond. Russell T Davies is an award-winning British media industry powerhouse, and we have so much to thank for what this tall, queer Welsh writer has brought to the British media industry, and I look forward to any new project that has Russell T Davies' name attached. Thanks for watching, everyone. Did you like my choices? Do you have any choices of your own? Sound off in the comments below. And in the meantime, please don't forget to like and subscribe.